Madison Magazine editor Brendan Nardi and I are back on our show on the Growing Green Wisconsin Expo, and we'll give you all the particulars in the next segment. But we're going to move from the exhibit floor now to another component of the Going Green Expo, which is kind of a Chautauqua, which is going to be taking place. And again, Tiffany can give you the details, but it's a series of conversations on various aspects of green and sustainability. Edgewood College is one of our partners. Tim Andrews is a lecturer in the Human Issues Department at Edgewood College and is joining us for this segment. And Tim, just maybe talk about what's going on at Edgewood that sort of complements the Going Green Expo. Obviously, there's a lot that can be done as a building, as a facility, as a grounds. But then you're teaching kids, which may be most important of all.
Well, that is key. Because to go green, we're going to need a responsible citizenry for our future. And our students are number one with our college commitment. We owe it to them to be able to adapt to changing conditions of the future, where energy is going to be in shorter supply and sustainability will be much more important. Edgewood College has had a long-standing commitment to Earth stewardship. It is a primary commitment of the Sinsinawan Sisters. And now we have made more recent commitments towards sustainability. Sustainability, as you know, has a lot of aspects. There's water conservation, paper conservation, but the low-hanging fruit is in energy conservation. So we can use our facility as an example on how to live responsibly. One interesting thing that is occurring right now is our energy management. Recently, we had Focus on Energy audit all of our buildings. And we are embarking on a program to save 1/3 of our fossil fuel within the next 4 years. Interesting things like lighting management. I've learned things that I never realized about things called candle powers, and that you need 25 of them to operate a computer, 50 of them to read the newspaper, 75 of them to do fine architectural drafting. And so we're teaching the students to light up instead of light down.
Tim, you've been interested in this stuff for a long time, but are the students pushing you? I mean, can you feel the pressure on campus to do more?
Well, yes, of course. At first, there's just the basic exuberance of youth. But that, coupled with living green and responsibly, is growing. And the fact is, I think that we're reaching a critical mass now. I believe that our environmental renaissance is just around the corner.
Are you collaborating with other entities around you? You're situated in such a wonderful part of this city. You have the Arboretum, you have St. Mary's Hospital. I mean, you're really an urban core. How are you working with both nature and public structures and individuals?
Well, I guess this cooperation has existed between Edgewood and the University of Wisconsin since Aldo Leopold walked across our campus every single day on his way to the Arboretum, to the Curtis Prairie. John Nolan tethered his horse to one of our giant oak trees. And this partnership, of course, continues, especially with the Arboretum. We use that as a great teaching resource, studying all of the various ecosystems of Wisconsin. And you can use it as a measurement on how the ecosystems are changing in response to global warming and planetary homogenization as we spread invasive species around. This community-wide partnership really does enrich the learning experience for our students. And as I said before, that's Edgewood College's primary commitment, is to our students and to the responsible citizenry of tomorrow.
We're pretty aware of this at the magazine. Dennis Collins is a regular contributor to the magazine, Tim, as you know. But there are others on campus that are really looking at the social responsibility aspects of the environment, of the ethical aspects of the environment, at a level that I think is really kind of driving the conversation, and maybe is even setting Edgewood apart a little bit.
Well, what is it to be Dominican? You know, we're sponsored by the Dominican Sisters, but I think one of the main beliefs in the Dominican Studium is that total equality exists between all people. No one's worth more or less than anyone else. And we're very concerned about the very next breath of air that you take.
What contribution do you see Edgewood making here to the Green Expo?
Well, we've been leaders in watershed management, and Professor Jim Lorman of our Natural Science Department has developed a program called Friends of Lake Wingra. And they've studied the watershed of Lake Wingra. It's easy because it's a fairly small watershed. And he has contacted all of the citizens that live within our watershed for responsible stewardship. One of the first things we did at Edgewood in this regard was to create some rain gardens. Rain gardens encourage water to percolate back down into the groundwater rather than run across the surface and get into our lakes with all of the contaminants that stormwater contains. And many symposiums have been held at Edgewood to teach other people how to do rain gardens. Now, I'm also on the Planning Commission in the town of Dunn. And if anyone comes across my commission and wants to build impervious surfaces, they shall build a large enough rain garden to take care of that. There's no law in place requiring it, but if you want my yes vote, you're going to do it.
That's great. That's really wonderful.
How long have you been on the Plan Commission there?
Oh, 7 years.
Okay, so after the breakthrough that the town of Dunn did with purchase of development rights.
It was right about that time when I joined it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What's the best thing what's the most visible thing at Edgewood that we as a public, if we were just walking by or driving through, what could we see today in the springtime?
Well, I'm biased. I've been in love with trees since I was 5 years old, and we have some magnificent prehistoric trees on our campus. There's been a large amount of effort in preservation of our natural resources. So I would think, if you're like me, that is what would strike you immediately. The trees and our Indian mounds. Also, something that might strike you is that people open and hold the door open for you and greet you with a smile. Everyone knows everyone's name. Edgewood College is a wonderful community to live and work in.
Which helps make this sustainable, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Tim Enders, thank you very much. We'll see you at the Going Green Expo.
Thank you.
When we come back, Marketing Director Tiffany Tome joins us.
Well,